The storm Amy has passed both the UK and Norway, and it's time for the European Ham Radio Show. Welcome, guys.
Hey,
Welcome.
Evening.
Hi there.
Hi.
we're all
And
here.
welcome to the audience as well. They're a big part of the show.
And welcome to Tobias's cat, Amy. No coincidence in naming.
I thought I wasn't going to take that point away from you. So we're going to talk about Raspberry Pis today and what we use them for and how they can be used, and if there's actually any use of having a box full of Raspberry Pis. I'm sure we all have some opinions on that topic, but first of all, it's the ham radio. Let's stop calling it the ham radio moment of the week. Just it's our ham radio week. Tobias, how has your ham radio week been?
My ham radio week was very uneventful. Yesterday I had like 1 hour of ham radio on the way to the graveyard, doing some maintenance on my parents' grave. Anyway, put the mag mount on the car and the 10-meter ham stick, and checked how the band conditions are. And I think I heard Indonesia, Java Island with S9 plus whatever, but unfortunately the guy was in a severe pile up, so I couldn't make it with the 100 whiskey and the ham stick. But that's it. No more ham radio moments.
What's your 3D printing moment of the week, though?
3D printing moment of the week is in progress. And I think I see the LED of the heat bed flickering now. Yeah, so the heat bed is on temperature, so I can start the next attempt. Basically, I spent some time getting the profile set up in Orca Slicer, and now I can test it. But as usual, if the first layer offset is not right, then your prints don't stick, and then the rest of the profile doesn't help either, right? So this is something that nobody of you guys have. You all have automatic printers that detect the distance and are dialed in by the manufacturer, so you just hit print and it always works, right?
Actually,
most
not.
of the time.
I had massive issues a few weeks back, and that was actually due to, for some reason, that offset had been messed up in the firmware of my Bamboo Labs printer. So it printed everything at like 0.01 millimeter layer height on the first layer, and that was not good.
It's not good for extrusion, right? You get a lot of clicking with the extruder.
It's not good for adhesion either, to say it that way.
But at least it doesn't try to print under the bed, though, as my printer did a couple of times.
No, but I managed to do that with the CNC router once.
Ouch.
Yeah, it makes sounds.
I must say the upgrade that I did for my printer with the inductive probe is already helping, because before it was electrical contact between nozzle and bed. Yeah, so the bed had 5 areas with basically plain copper or contact metal. Yeah, so it always tried to get the nozzle offset by making electrical contact, and that works of course only when your nozzle is clean. Yeah, unfortunately the printer also had a tendency to heat up the nozzle, and if it, depending on which filament, if the filament is oozing out a bit out of the nozzle, then the probing doesn't work. Yeah, and it liked to smash the nozzle into the bed, yeah, and that is of course gone now with the inductive probe, because it sits like 5 millimeter distance, and well, as soon as it comes near the PE plate, it switches off, right? So that problem is solved.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've lost everybody. I'm sorry.
Not at all. I was going to say inductive probes are the absolute best for 3D printers. I love them. I have that on. That's one of the really good things on the Mini, the Precision Mini I have. I love that.
Yeah. So I got the bed now on temperature, and the nozzle is on temperature, and now I can do a mesh, create a 5x5 mesh for mesh bed leveling, and then I will start the print and see if it works or not.
And Charlotte wants to borrow your brain, Tobias. Is that okay? She apparently doesn't trust Chetis's brain, so
Oh no!
Is that
Yeah.
allowed on the UK test to borrow someone else's brain? Because I don't think we're allowed to do that in Norway.
I don't know. I haven't checked the regulations that thoroughly.
But my brain is turning into mush with all the GitHub Copilot usage. It's not good for my mental health, right? It's because very often I mean, we had that episode, right? We had that episode about AI and so on. But nevertheless, it does not encourage one to switch one's own brain on and think for yourself. Yeah, you tend to get lazy and just blindly trust what the bloody text generator spits out. And
Text generator. That's an excellent word. That should be what we call AI. Text generators.
Yeah.
Much more fitting term.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a funny conversation with ChatGPT just out of fun. Yeah, what was it, yesterday or on Friday, where I said, yeah, okay, so if the AI takes over the world and everybody loses their job, etc., and I had a very 30-minute long, very interesting conversation with a text generator. So yeah. I mean, one thing where it really excels is summarizing facts, yeah? So if it has been trained on facts, it can summarize and produce bullet points and PowerPoint slides. That's where it really excels.
Yeah.
You put up a slide here, Kjetil.
To not snipe in on Tobias's chat there, but please put it on. So this is from a press...
Because we're already off topic.
Yeah, so this is... Call back to last week, and this is until my talk next week in the RGB convention. This is going to be it. So I'm talking about what Tobias said there. And let's ask the GPT here a simple question. How do you get a ham radio license in Norway? You're not going to read this. I'm just going to mark out the things that are plain wrong. It is complete, and like over half of this is just cow poop to make Morten happy with the sponsorship thingies. Let's get back to topic.
But I just need to say this, because this is trained on text that is written by humans, and if you look at the average text produced by the average human, about 50% is cow poop anyway. So it stands to reason, I think.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Should we try to get further on and not dwell with last week's topic?
Yes, let's chat about Mr. Jürgen there and what his week was.
Yeah, the usual stuff like climbing on towers and running cables from the antenna down to the shack, etc. So we continued our work yesterday at OE4X Arcade, a Red Cross club station. Routing some cables and having some fun. And today, Morten, I know it's not officially released, but you gave me an idea, so that's what I printed right now. And this is the center part.
I'll get to it, but I made a joke because you released a video yesterday again where you showed how to spot. Yeah,
okay.
the LoRa map video.
I haven't seen it. Sorry. Anyway, the printer finished the center part right now, and I did also a video or two videos about this thingy here. Let's call it a radio. Not a very good one, but it's a radio. It's the HamGeek 6699 CB/ham radio. It is designed to work from, or it transmits from 21 megahertz up to 30 megahertz, and it's receiving, I think, from 2 megahertz upwards. But I'm not sure what this really should be. I mean, you can receive signals when you really, really close by. I mean, if you're in the same room, it's a nice box at a first glance, but yeah, let's see.
It
Maybe there is
looks kind of Hytera Motorola like.
yeah.
I think it looks plasticky. Tap it with your fingers. Let's have the sound.
Here
That's
we
not
go.
too bad. Yeah,
This
that's
is-
what I was expecting.
The heatsink is metal. The top cover is plastic. The housing itself is from, I think, another radio, because there's also this little lever here to take the display off, which is not working at this radio here. But anyway, now I have it. Maybe I can have some fun with it. At least I can use it to throw a wire over a branch on a tree and pull my.
If that doesn't do it, I'm sure Kjetil has a log splitter you can borrow. So
Okay. Yeah, and that was it for the week. That was my ham radio week.
Yep.
How about you, Kjetil?
Well, it was slow when it came to the activation side. I think I did 2 activations, which is quite a lot compared to the very little I did in September. But out doing quota. Today I had a miserable failure, or as I was told to say, a activation where I was unable to achieve the number of QSOs required, because failure is
because you never fail in POTA.
No. I would call it a miserable failure with 4 QSOs in half an hour, but that's me with 100 watts.
That was even slower than my activation today.
Yeah, but then we did have Tobias's cat fly by here earlier in the week on Friday, so I went out before it really started blowing around. It is like it was maybe 25 meters per second gusts, something like that. And I put up my JPC 12 antenna just to see if that is a good antenna to use in an emergency situation. And now I have a telescopic whip that's split in 2. Which,
but I was going to ask something in the comment section of your video, but I didn't. Wouldn't it be smart to find a sheltered place before setting that antenna up?
Yes, it would be moronic to put it up on a massively exposed place next to the sea in a horribly gusty winds. That will break that antenna, which was my point. But if I had been smart, I would have just set it down below the sand dune and it would be completely okay. But that is not a real test of like if you have to, you have to. And it did last for 10, 15 minutes or so. So that was interesting enough, and I had filmed everything, including the very positive ending, saying, "Hey, it actually survived." I started packing down, and then it crashed. Funny thing. But anyways, I do have more whips, and that being said, this is the whip I've been using for most of the year, so it did have wear on it. It's not factory new.
But it's got to be said, though, I've gone through a couple of whips on the JPC 12, and not all of the whips are the same quality, and most of them are not good quality.
This was actually the factory one from Christech. So
yeah.
Are these the 5 meter whips or the shorter ones?
This was a short one, the original one that comes with the kit. The 5 meter whip is not JPC 12. That's extra equipment. I did get a question there about, or a comment up here from Chris Breaker about prompt engineering. And yes, that is a thing. Although some people may not enjoy it, there is quite a lot of work that goes into this from the people that work with it every day. But some people may not like it. That's something else.
Yeah.
It is still random and crappy as, well, something I can't say on this stream.
Yep. Is it your stepper motors running in the background, Tobias?
Yes.
Yep.
Should I mute myself?
No. Just wanted to know where it came from.
I thought my printer is loud.
This sounds a bit. Maybe you should have some new motor drivers, Tobias.
Yes.
I have my printer in the living room. Depending on which angle it prints, it's not always a good place to have it.
And when were you going to finalize the divorce?
Yeah.
She's given
and-
up on me, so I'm fine doing that.
Yeah, and just to follow up there with Chris, he has a question: how strong winds? These were gusting into hurricane strength winds. So yes, these are things that will break that antenna. It will break telescopic whips. It will break quite a lot of things, including houses, roofs, in some of the most hardened parts of Europe when it comes to wind. So putting it up there was actually breaking it on purpose, but actually showing that it breaks at some point. So you would have issues as well. I can guarantee you that.
Actually, once I saw that video, I wanted to go out into the storm and put up my ground plane 20-meter antenna. But then I remembered I'm lazy, so I didn't.
Yeah, the SOTA beams the 10-meter compact vertical mast, it breaks in roughly the same wind conditions as this, or splinters, because it's carbon fiber instead of a telescopic whip. But these are winds that actually break things.
Yep. And they actually broke a lot of things in Norway yesterday.
Yep.
Yes, there was a lot of damage, and still is quite a lot of damage and power out and stuff like that, and flooding, significant damage around the country. And this was, what was it? Storm something. It used to be a tropical hurricane over in the Caribbean, and then it came here and still has quite a lot of energy. So, but I do think that was my week, to be fair. So I'll send it up to, well, that side, to Mr. Bob there, and maybe he has some exciting stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about exciting, some maybe interesting stuff. Local ham got a hold of some TEHRS, I think it's pronounced in English, radios that he was selling. So let's see if I can, this
Surprise.
Yeah, and actually probably not a really big surprise, but since I drove all the way down to Skien, come on, I got two.
Where did you say you drove to?
Skien.
No.
Oh.
Skien.
Well,
Never mind. That is a
pronounce it-
Norwegian
if they
thing.
pronounce it that way, they will have to put an E in there, not an I. Sorry. Yeah. But and it turns out these are really, really cool radios. They're awful to program. It's got a CPS that will make the Anytone DMR CPS envious. But they have some really cool features. Let's see if I can get this on camera. On the back here is it's just turning. Yeah, there you can see it just about. It's an awful lot of connectors, and everything interesting is broken out on these connectors, including 6 GPIO pins that you can use to set the channels. So you can actually pre-program 64 different channels, and you can set them by GPIO pins on the back of the radio. So a lot of cool things you can do with these. This is VHF only, but looking forward to figuring that out and doing something cool with them.
Are these some like
display?
Kjetil first.
Yeah, are these like some ex-police or emergency services radios, or some specialist radios, or ham
I
radios?
think they're from a construction company, used from a construction company. So it's that sort of radio.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Morten had a question.
No display?
There's a display in the hand mic.
Oh, it's one of those radios.
I had such a high TEHRS in the past for DMR on 70 centimeters.
Yeah.
And how much were there?
How much?
How much were the radios?
I got a very good deal. I paid $2,000 Norwegian for both. So
Are there more left?
Not at that price. I think he has the remaining on fins for 1,800 a piece.
Okay, yeah, that's a little bit over my budget. Sorry for interrupting.
Go ahead, Jürgen.
Can you show me the microphone? Because
then I'll have to go upstairs.
No, okay. No. The display was really, really tiny.
Yeah, it is the same thing. It's got four buttons and a tiny display, so it's not really informative.
As I got older, I had problems, figuring around what to set in the car while driving. So this can be dangerous.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm not using these for DMR. I'm going to use them for maybe some remote type setup. I'll see if since we're talking about Raspberry Pis today, it could be an idea to connect the Raspberry Pi back there. Of course, audio is also broken out on that huge connector, so you can connect a sound card. You can hook it up to a Raspberry Pi. You could probably then create a hotspot of some sort, or maybe even a nice remote rig that you can dial into with some IP telephony thing or something. So we'll see what I end up doing, and probably also there's going to be some data radio type action with them.
My first thought was an All-Star node with those.
Yeah, that should work. And let's see if I can manage to share a few. Where do we do this again? That's the
screen with the plus sign.
Yeah. And there we go. This is something I've been planning to do for a long time, to create basically an outdoor capable LoRa iGate.
I have so many questions. I'll ask him after you've done talking about it.
Yeah, that's not really that much to talk about. I've been wanting to build this. Ricardo Guzman, he created a new version of the firmware that draws a lot less power, but apparently you need a special card, a special module to take advantage of that. So I got that a few months ago, and I've been wanting to build this ever since, and I got around to it finally. So there's a video on that. if you
how long does it take to transmit a picture from that camera?
From what camera? That would take about 2.5 years, I think. Yeah. This is just I'm supporting it there to take the picture. That's
okay.
Yeah,
nice.
But yeah, it's done now. It's been running on these batteries now since about 24 hours. It started out, it's reporting every 15 minutes. It's reporting the battery voltage. It started out at 4.06 and it's now down to 4.00. So 60 millivolts down in 24 hours of operations. And this is on the high end of the slope. Basically, the voltage of these batteries is going to have a steep descent, and it's going to have a long while where it's almost no change, and then a steep descent as the batteries run out. So I have high hopes that this is gonna work for a while, but we'll find out. You want to do the question on this before I do the final?
You practically answered it, though. I was going to ask if you had any experience on how long it'll last on those batteries, because as we'll get to when we get to my moments of the week, I have also been playing with LoRa APRS this week.
Yeah, and that's my next slide, actually. But let's see if I can. Yeah, I'll do that first, because it's funny that you mentioned it, Jørgen, that you printed the enclosure that Morten.
Yeah, that's the video I missed.
Because, I did too.
I just saw it on Discord, so
yeah, me too. And that looked so damn nice compared to the one I have. And let's see if I can stop sharing. I can show you my current enclosure. Because if you look at it from this side, it looks pretty all right. But if we turn it around, then we can see that it doesn't really come across all that well on camera. But yeah, it's starting to take the shape of what's called an American football for some reason. I don't know why, but this is the shape.
It's a bit of battery swelling. Take that dipole out.
It's not the battery swelling. This is printed from PLA, and I left that in the car this summer for way too long. So
you know that one?
Is that a LoRa APRS device?
Yeah, APRS Cube. It was a project from some OEMs in Germany, and it has a built-in, I think it's 1 watt amplifier. That's what's make this device special. 1 watt on LoRa is a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where can I get one?
That's the first question.
They do not exist anymore. You can download the firmware; it's still available. You can buy this M5. I think it's an M5 stack modules. Install the firmware, but the amplifier is no longer available. It is called APRS Cube. You can Google it, and yeah, the project doesn't exist anymore.
The more important question is, how clean is the output from that amplifier?
It should be clean.
All right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the 70 Sims, small 70 Sims amplifiers I've seen, they have nothing in the way of filtering.
No. Developed by Hams, and can I open it? Not yet. Maybe later.
Yep. Yep. I think that's it for my week. Sorry for grabbing your thunder with the enclosure, Morten, but yeah.
the enclosure was not the important part, though. So
that's good.
I've been doing more LoRa stuff than that. So
please tell us about your ham radio week.
Yeah, I am going to share my screen because I've started to prepare, and that's a weird feeling, but I actually know what I'm going to talk about. I'm not going to start here as this is today, and that's not my ham radio moment of the week because, as Tieta said, conditions were tough.
That's not what he said.
Thanks to a couple of people having 2 firsts, 3 firsts, and another 2 I actually managed to activate, and I think I got 10 QSOs after 35 minutes or so. It actually took 12 minutes of calling CQ before I had the first station coming back to me. It ended up looking like this, which isn't too bad. And then on Tuesday, I got this. I released a video about that yesterday. It's the XGG Comps Digimode 3 Micro. Gotta try to remember what it's called. It's a CM108 with a little bit of extra magic in there, and it's actually a Digimode cable from my old Kenwood. And it turned out that there was a VHF contest on Tuesday, which was kind of perfect timing. So I ended up with 4 QSOs on FD8. 3 of them were relatively local, and the 4th one was 343 kilometers away on 2 meters on 20 watts FD8 on a 3-element beam.
With no conditions to speak about. This was only a ground wave.
No conditions to speak about at all. 343 kilometers.
That's quite all right. And not a very impressive elevation on your antenna either. That's a pretty average antenna.
I am shooting straight into a hill when I'm pointing the antenna south.
Yep.
So nothing to speak about. But it's mostly been LoRa APRS this week. I started on Thursday holding a presentation for my club, talking about how to install the Ricardo Guzman firmware and showing them and helping other hams install firmware on their things, which kind of spiked interest in our club with LoRa APRS. So we're in the process of trying to extend the Digipeater coverage on this side of the Oslo Fjord. And that's kind of why I wanted to know how long it lasts on batteries, because that leaves a lot of opportunities on where you can place a Digipeater.
It does, but I think you need more than a few 18650 cells to place it really remotely. But
But it opens up some opportunities though. So possibly not with the 18650 cells, but at least battery powered.
Yep.
And then it's on to the tracker here, which we talked about, because I got the tracker on Tuesday, but I didn't get the battery I ordered for it. So come Friday, I kind of wanted to find a solution. I found a store locally which had a battery, at least according to their webpage, but not when I came to the store. So I went down to
all of us, I think.
Yeah. So I went down to my junk box, one of my junk boxes in the basement, and found this. Actually, I found an old Canon camera with this battery inside. Turns out that this is a LiPo cell, 3.7 volts. So I soldered some cables to it. And I'm not there yet. And mounted it in this enclosure that both of you guys have shown. But it's apparently, as I wrote in the admin channel on our Discord, it's apparently LoRa week this week. And we're not coordinated on this, just to say that. And then to what's really my ham radio moment of the week. Getting this thing, the Liligo T-Echo, up and running with the Ricardo Guzman firmware. And just so, I pressed some stuff here. Just one moment.
That's a perfect illustration of the biggest problem with that device.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. It'll apparently put it in APR Thursday mode now, but we'll see what happens. But that was not simple. I'm gonna make a video on this because nothing in this process is well documented. I ended up bricking the thing, I thought, when I first attempted it. But through some persistence and about a year, I've made it work now. So I'm going to make a video. I think I'm not sure how far along that video is going to be. Probably at least a week before I have time to make that video, or at least publish it on how to do this, because nothing is logical. None of the documentation is collected in one spot. It felt like a giant accomplishment to actually get this thing up and running. And it's such a nice device hardware-wise, except that the display is a little bit crooked and it feels like a cheap Chinese gadget, but it looks nice. So when the week started, I had one tracker, and that's the T-Deck in the middle there. And by the end of the weekend, I have 3 trackers. So it's definitely been a LoRa APRS week.
Nice.
Yep.
And there's another 2-meter contest on Tuesday, so hoping for some good conditions there, and getting that. See if I can do some more 2-meter FT8, because I am starting to really like that Kenwood. And yeah, that's my ham radio stuff for this week.
Yeah, and according to my video, or the map I've shown in my video, you have a huge coverage area.
I do, but I'm not sure if that's simplex traffic or digipeated traffic, though, that map shows.
Yeah.
Because
I post a link to the map in the private chat if you can post it to the public, please.
We can actually take a look at that as well before we go on to the main topic. Let's see. I'm going to post it here. Let's see if I can get that up on my screen. And it did not. Do you have it in a window here again? Because somehow I can click on the link in the private chat. It worked now.
I can do.
Yeah, I have it up.
Okay,
let's
then
see.
show
Share
it.
screen. I am just gonna find it here. Because you talked about my coverage area. Let's move in here. Apparently, someone has been testing LoRa APRS. That was the wrong one. Let's see if I can find my digipeater here. There we go. And press the coverage map.
And zoom out.
Yeah. Because I don't think I've not been in contact in that area on Simplex.
Yeah, you probably have. I would guess that the lower left digipeater, that's 100 meters above sea level. That's our group. So that's easily reachable for you. And I would guess the same thing.
That is easily reachable. I get packages from that digipeater all the time.
Yeah, and I would guess the green L on top there has a really nice elevation, and so it's you've been heard in there as well, and that's the reason why you get this triangular shape on the coverage.
I think this is based on direct receive packets, not digipeated packets.
Yeah,
because it doesn't make any sense if there's a digipeater in between.
Nope.
So. Yeah, so that's, but this is, I see some heat maps for my digipeater as well. And that seems a lot like my test route, which I drive to test it. So, that was interesting. And it was fun to just see your video and then suddenly, that's where I live. But on to today's subject, though, Raspberry Pis. Kjetil, you had an argument. Let's start with your argument, and then we can work on from there.
Well, it's not necessarily an argument, just an observation that I have pretty much every generation of Raspberry Pi, and their main function is filling up storage containers. But I have had use for them. Back in the day, I used them a lot for Octoprint as a 3D printer hub. I used them for data logging, for some other random stuff. So yeah, I have used them, but for me nowadays, they're basically not good enough, especially when you have the ability to run Dockerized containers and so on your computer to have somewhat of a different environment. But that is for my usage.
Exactly.
Sure.
And I thought we would get that out of the way, though, because I'm going to say I have a complete opposite situation. I think I have 4 Raspberry Pis here, but all running specialized tasks.
Yeah, and that's going to vary by your use case and what you want to do with it and so on. So I'm not going to be a sad ham, but for this one, I don't really have that much to contribute as I basically don't use them anymore. But you guys, you go on with all your weird stuff.
Yeah, and then next week we're going to talk about ham clock, and ham clock is a great use for Raspberry Pi.
If I had a home shack, I would have had one of those up. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. It's really great thing. So there are uses, and they are cool things, and they are a lot of e-waste here. I do, for example, have my first generation Raspberry Pi here, which, well, it can't do very much.
It can emulate the classic Nintendo.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for any nerd type person, it's natural to have a drawer or maybe 2 full of Raspberry Pi stuff. And I have the same thing. I have probably every single one ever made. Possibly at least 2 of every single one ever made. And the Raspberry Pi Foundation, they're really good at making other stuff. So they've created screens, they've created cameras, they've created all sorts of things. They built the single, what do you call it? A computer in a keyboard type thing. The 500, is it 400? 400?
Yeah. 500 or 400. I think there are different
400.
types of them.
Yeah. There's a new one now that I need to order, but yeah.
Yep.
And I think they're bloody brilliant for all sorts of small project. You talk about you have containers that you can run stuff on, and that's true if you want to run software. But if you want to interface with anything having to do with hardware, the GPIO things on a board costing, what do they cost now? $50-$60?
Yeah, it's ridiculously. It's still cheap, and for GPIO, you will not get that on a PC. Probably.
No.
You won't, and it's got I2C, it's got SPI, it's got all sorts of very cool thing, and the new ones even got some really fast Ethernet. They have a decent amount of memory. They got two screens if you want to connect some screens to them. You can do very, very many cool things with Raspberry Pi, and depending on how you do your work on a computer, you could easily also, some people could also easily do their work on a Raspberry Pi. I know every single thing that I do for my job, I could easily do on a Raspberry Pi, no problem at all. So capable computers, and very, very capable when it comes to hacking things where you use the GPIO capabilities. And of course, also, it's possible to run them battery powered. It's a lot harder to run containers battery powered. That opens up some interesting possibilities as well.
Yeah. I see that Ivar comments here that he's using DigiPi, and I've been a patron of DigiPi for 2 years now. I still haven't tried it. Have any of you guys tried the DigiPi?
I really want to, but haven't gotten around to it. Luckily, I haven't joined the Patreon yet.
It's pay as much as you want to, so I'm not paying a lot. But I feel that I think it's called Craig is doing a really good job doing that.
Yeah, he is.
So that might be a guest idea. I have of the 4 Raspberry Pis I have in the shack, one is running what I call the station controller. And I'm going to see if I have enough cable here on. Oh, that camera didn't work. Never mind. The station controller is just a touch screen running a web page that controls the station controller, and the station controller is the device that runs everything remotely in my shack except for my Flex. And of course, the heart of the station controller is another Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. I just had an idea, Morten, because you use all these different cameras to show us things. I've seen your shack, and what you need is a mirror. That would actually do it.
Yeah, it's not a huge shack, to put it that way. And then I have DMR hotspot and an All-Star node that also runs on their own Pis, and they're all Pi 3s because I think they're good enough for single task use, and they don't require any external cooling solutions.
Yeah, Pi 3s are plenty capable for almost all things that people use Raspberry Pis for.
Yeah,
so.
and mine are basically single purpose things.
Yep. One of my favorite things with the Raspberry Pis, and also one of the big disadvantages, really, but one of my favorite things is you can swap out the role Raspberry Pi is doing by swapping out the SD card. So it takes you 15 seconds, and you put that thing into a completely new role, and 15 seconds to put it back, and that's a very, very nice feature, I think.
But do remember to mark those SD cards to take out of the Pi, because otherwise you'll be digging through all of your micro SD cards trying to remember which card had the All-Star node software on it.
To be fair, my problem would be finding that SD card, but all right. If I happen to find it and having it marked, that would be a good idea,
yeah. But I like Pis because it's simple as a simple purpose computer for single use. I did try when I became a ham. I did try KM4 AC case, Raspberry Pi for portable use distro thingy, which is now evolved into more general purpose Linux. But took that out portable. The lack of internet, a real-time clock, and any kind of GPS thingy made that thing fail before I had it booted the first time.
Yeah, but the fun thing is that there are other derivatives from Raspberry Pis from other manufacturers, and many of these will have, for example, the RTC clocks built in, or they will have a different CPU or some other functionality. So Raspberry Pi on itself is one thing, but there are a lot of other options out there if you want to look for it and you need it.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. But the thing is, for Raspberry Pis, you have ready-made solutions and distros doing those single tasks.
Yep.
So a lot of the time you don't have to fiddle yourself, because you just download an SD image and put the SD card and the Pi and boot it up, and it just works.
That sounds boring.
Or works about 70%, so you still need to figure out a lot of stuff yourself with usually not a lot of documentation.
Yeah, or I did one.
I think since you told us you failed so miserably with portable operations, so I think I need to share an image, Morten. Let's see if that works. Yeah, it did. That's a Raspberry Pi operating portable on a Summit. That's actually, I think that's Lima Alpha Victor Foxtrot 001, the tallest mountain in the area here. Which isn't saying much.
But you brought a keyboard and a screen. I relied on using VNC in order to have that portable Raspberry Pi thingy work.
So it's not really it's not so much the Pi's fault. It's the operator's fault, is what you're saying.
Well, I wanted to have something simple, which I could just use a phone or a tablet to VNC into, and have that computer functionality on a device that I otherwise would be bringing. But now you have DigiPi that does much of the same thing, only more elegantly.
Yeah. So,
which I really need to test out.
Well, I must say I'm not the biggest Raspberry Pi user. I mean, this is one of my device, my MMDVM hotspot, right? Yep. So that is a Raspberry Pi 0W2, I think. Yeah. And then I also have a Raspberry Pi Zero W without the 2, but at some point they stopped supporting that because I think it misses the memory or the memory management unit. I don't know. Anyway, the W2 is the one I had, and then I sort of can tell you the culprit why I was not the biggest fan of them. So this is maybe you embig me a second.
I can embiggen you.
And I tried to log in here and failed dismally because I haven't booted up this thing. It's just in a drawer. And this is a QB board. So with the Allwinner A20 chip. And I spent way too much time on it. And by spending way too much time on it, I sort of lost my appetite for this tiny computers. So basically you had to do everything the painful way. It had a very old kernel. You can make me smaller again.
I'll make you smaller again.
Had a kernel 3 dot something without the device tree. I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with the term here who is not a programmer. So basically, I think with at some point in Linux, they added something called device tree, which is like a bit a more convenient way to set up a kernel for a specific hardware, and it makes setting up new hardware much easier than what it used to be before. But the kernel that was available for this thing was pre-device tree, so it was a pain in the back to get the display working and to merge the display driver in and to get the touchscreen working, and everything was just some custom archive in some random GitLab repository that the Chinese uploaded 10 years ago. So it was really, really, really painful. And if I would remember the login password of this thing, then I could show you that it would run the Commodore C64 emulator, and I think it even plays a nice demo, but I forgot the password.
Can you play winter games on it?
I think you can, yeah. You just have to, connect some controller like USB keyboard or some USB joystick. Then you can play.
And that is actually, when we're talking non-ham radio things, something I have been using Raspberry Pis for, emulation gaming, because as a kid of the 1980s, I like the old computer games, but the emulation doesn't give me the correct feeling, though. I'd love to have some old hardware, but
I mean, as you can see, in the end, I got it working. It boots into my self-compiled Yocto Linux, and it also the display is working, the touchscreen is working, but I sunk so much spare time that at some point I lost my motivation, and I think I'm still thinking about it. This is something that I still consider buying. This is one of these micro console kits. Bob, stay away from your credit card.
It has been on my wish list for so long, but I can't.
Exactly, yeah. For years, I think that would be really nice. It would be really nice. But do I really need it? And so far, the answer was I do not really need it. But maybe this Christmas, you never know.
I have been so close to buying one of those U consoles for several times.
I bought so many things I don't need. I do not need. It's but
come on, we're ham radio operators.
You just have to look back here. If I unblur my desk and find the right camera, which is this one. See, all the crap that's on each desk is completely full with stuff, yeah? So I'm not really allowed to buy anything.
And
that's not how it works.
And speaking about emulation gaming, so I just want to touch this. Charlotte asked, which games? Preferably Commodore 64 games, and preferably, as I said, winter games, which is a game that still sits in the fingers and have done so for more than 40 years. Chris says, buy an Anbernic handheld for earlier gaming. I have one. and I also have a Retroid Pocket 5, which I was sponsored and tried to make a crossover retro gaming ham radio video running FT8 on it. It did not hit well in either of the target audiences. Let's put it that way.
So see,
and I hope
the next time you're making fun of me for collecting radios, I know how to hit you back, Morten.
And since we are completely off topic, I hope everybody got the news that Commodore is back in business. Yeah, Perifractic has bought Commodore, so
I have
the
I've
Commodore
seen that.
brand is back and alive. So that's
and it is
some good
actually
news.
a full-blown Commodore 64 running an FPGA that can do most of the Commodore stuff, as far as I understand. So that's also on my wish list.
Yeah, see, the thing with
my
that
Commodore is in an extra room, and I haven't switched it on in ages, but it's there and the monitor's there, and I could flick the switch.
I threw mine away because I thought, when will I ever want this thingy again?
And that, to be honest, that was the right thing to do, because you remember these things from way back when.
Yeah.
I had, if someone can remember the Cyan 5, PSIO.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I have one in the basement.
That thing, it was so sweet. That was the best thing ever. And I got to play with one about maybe 5 years ago or something like that. And I was so disappointed. That thing was complete crap. Because the world has moved on. So if you go back and start using a Commodore 64 now, you're just going to be disappointed. Don't do it. Just remember how nice it was way back when.
It's like Joachim says there, the Commodore is keeping up with you.
Yeah. So,
And I'm just saying the most fun that I had with my Commodore was with this thing. This little plotter that they had with the Olivetti mechanics. That was so much fun to program and play with. I think that was the most fun I had with this machine.
It's very, very nice. I learned assembly language on the CBM 64. That was my favorite thing to do with that thing. And I didn't have any assembler, so basically I would look up opcodes in a table and enter them into memory with poke operations, and then I will try to run it and see what happened. So that was it's a hard way of learning assembly programming. Let me say.
You know, the really embarrassing thing is there was a neighbor boy in my neighborhood, who I was friends with, and his family basically had a farm, so no electronics background whatsoever, and he got so obsessed. Well, I had a C64, so at some point he hit a C64, and he got so obsessed with assembler that he teached himself how to write demos with it, with no background and no information whatsoever, just by try and error. That was.
Yep, I also did that on the Commodore 64.
We had a lot of spare time as kids. That's all I'm saying.
It is the last computer I did any successful programming on. But let's get it slightly back to topic, because you mentioned this Cyan there, Bob.
Oh yes.
Yep. Should we get one up on screen in case people haven't seen one?
If you find one, and I'll while you look for that, I will just say, can we please do a hotspot episode? This is related to the topic of today. I'm having so much trouble figuring out how to. I've only worked in IT in some 30 years, and I can't figure out how to set up this hotspot. So if we can do an episode of that, that would be great.
Should we do a live setup of a hotspot episode?
Maybe we could get some of the guys that actually creates them also to join.
Yep.
That would be great fun. We can talk about the technology and what they can do and how it does it and all that. That would be great fun. But yeah, both. That's
because
that's the MX. But
I have the MX version that has 16 megabytes of RAM instead of 8.
Yeah, I never got around to getting the MX, but
and it had a faster CPU, and this is obviously the German version. You can see that on the touch fields down below. But that thing has a proper serial port, though. How fun would it be to do something ham radio wise with that thingy?
Is it still working?
The serial is working. The thing is, though, I can't find my cable anymore, and it's of course a proprietary port, which you can get an RS2 or a DB9 dongle for. But and I had that. I even had the infrared modem. So I used to be in hotel rooms, checking my email and surfing web pages with this thingy.
This is what I would do. The infrared thing. I had the tiny Nokia, these 8210, I think. So you could hold that Cyan. It's the size it will fit in your hand, like this. You can put the Cyan in your hand. You can put the Nokia behind it, eye on the back of the Cyan facing the Nokia, and you can walk around telnetting into your computers and doing your work while walking around. This was revolutionary. When was this? The early 90s.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah,
I got mine in 99.
I was a bit later with one of those.
I'm gonna.
We should do.
Oh, I had those as well.
We should do a ham radio on old computer episode.
Yeah.
But the Palm Pilot or Palm that it ended up. I remember I was driving on the motorway in Switzerland at probably close to 200 kilometers an hour, because that's what we do in Switzerland. And at the same time, I was sending a fax with my Palm computer via a connection to another Nokia phone.
I remember having to send a written letter. I remember having to send a written letter to the US, printed out snail mail in order to get access to the development kit. And then the first time I put my mobile phone number in, and they rejected the application because there was not a landline. So I had to send it again with my parents' landline number, who would have been very happy to get a call from Palm Pilot USA. And then I got access to the development kit and could do my own programs with it.
Do you see the comment here, Bob? Bonnet looked up. There's an add-on called a Cyan Wavefinder made for radio signals. This is going to send me into a big eBay wormhole.
Yeah. By the way, Bob, that fax you were sending, was that the one when you booked the hotel for next year's TEHRS meetup?
No. This was 25 years ago.
This was the last time fax was used.
All right. Yeah. 25 years ago, we used fax quite a lot. This was some customs clearance work that I needed for work in Switzerland. So,
yeah. It is incredible to think, at least, like how much more power you have in something like this crappy i4 here compared to those old ones. And they were fast enough. Like, you didn't think about the 90s or 80s computer that they were horribly slow. They just worked.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's, but trust me, I've tried going back, and just don't do it. Just keep the fond memories of these computers. If you try to use them now, they're gonna be so bad. I'm not gonna use them.
But speaking about memories, though, I was checking Facebook earlier, and last night was the 30th anniversary of my U.S. high school graduation, or at least since we graduated. And I've been looking at the pictures, and I got to be honest, though, I don't know who half of these old people are. They seem to have aged a lot faster than me.
Yep.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, you also have this picture of yourself in your mind, and you still think you're 25, right? I mean, not when you're preparing to go to work in the morning and look into the bathroom window, but generally, I know time just flies and your mind doesn't catch up with it, I think.
That is so true.
Yeah.
The problem is that 25-year-old, he usually shows up about the time I start thinking, should I order another beer or should I go home? And that's when he causes the most problems as well.
Actually, my 25-year-old has shown up a lot less lately when that thought has come up.
Yep.
Let's see here. Get back here. Oldest 10 years
That's
older
the spirit,
than you are.
Marion.
Exactly.
Yep.
William asks, should I buy a TDEC Plus with factory settings or mesh core? I don't think it really matters.
No.
You just flash the firmware on it.
Yeah.
And I got to say, I love this thing for what it is. And I figured out how to get the keyboard working. When it says it had no keyboard connected, just start typing and it works.
Well, and if that doesn't work, you need to just squish it just a little bit.
Yep.
Let me demonstrate. I have mine right here. Let's see. If the keyboard doesn't work, you just hold it like this and you give it a little squeeze and it starts working. Now you know.
I actually had to ask you when I got mine, how do you get the keyboard working?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, build quality, so. But fun device.
We went slightly off topic today, but it looks like we've retained some viewer. We've had some viewers staying with us, so it can't be all bad.
And we had some laughs and some fun.
Yep. Next week we are going to talk about Ham Clock with Andre, Yankee Oscar something GNU, Yankee Oscar 3 GNU. I just had to scroll up in the chat here. He's going to talk about Ham Clock, and there's I might get another Raspberry Pi before that show. Or
just in case.
Just in case I want to get but I need another screen though, because my Ham Clock screen is running my station commander or station controller.
And before that time, for the ones who are in the UK, you'll meet Charlotte, which is in chat on the RGB convention, and myself, and I think Steve, which is in chat here, is going to show up as well. And
is that next week already?
That's next weekend, I hope. At least that's when my tickets are booked. So that's Saturday and Sunday. Some of this is going to be live streamed. Other of it is going to be available as videos recordings afterwards. And would be really nice. So if you are there, please say hello to me or Charlotte in the hallways. We will have stickers to give out as well. Fancy, shiny European Ham Radio Show stickers.
Very nice. Can you please make sure to post links for the things that are going to be live in the self-promo channel on the Discord?
Yes, if I get that information in advance, yes.
Yep.
If not, it will be there afterwards. Because, it's a live stream. You can watch it after as well.
Someone needs to post the obligatory Discord link.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Thanks everybody for watching. And
thank you, folks.
See you next week.
We'll see you next week. I just got an email and I got distracted. That's just the way my mind works. So we'll see you next week, and we'll try to stay more on topic than 7-3, my friends.
Or not.
7-3.